Hello subscriber, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we'll discuss about the corporate accounting and financial management lesson 2, basic accounting terms. As we see in our last video about what is accounting cycle, and we talk about bookkeeping. So in this video, we are going to address the basic accounting terminology which we need to know while we come across in the practice of accounting. Let's go ahead with the concept of event. When we discuss about the concept of event, event may be described as any incidence that occurs as a result of something. In an accounting sense, an event can be understood as the final outcome of a business activity that can affect the account balances of the company if it is financial in nature. Whenever there is an increase or decrease in the company's assets or liabilities, an accounting event takes place. Therefore, it can change the fundamental accounting equation and can be expressed monetarily. So, if we are going to understood this concept of event in a layman term, any economic activities or any activities with respect to the business scenario occurs and it has an effect in the financial in nature. So that effect we can consider as an event for the business activity. जब हम इसको सिंप्लीफाइड वे में बात करें, इवेंट का मतलब क्या होता है? कोई भी लेन देन हम करते हैं तो उस लेन देन प्रयास में हमें कोई मॉनिटरी का इंक्रीज और डिक्रीज का सिनारियो सामने आता है, तो उस केस में हम उसको बोलते हैं एक इवेंट। और एक चीज आप ध्यान रखें, ऑल इवेंट are not transactions, but all transactions are event. So let's go ahead to talk about the concept of transactions. What does it mean actually when you come into the picture of transactions? Yes, obviously it is an event, and if the event has a monetary effect or monetary benefit or money involvement is there, so that we call as a transactions. In simple terms, we can say it means an event or a business activity that involves exchange of money or money's worth between parties. सो इस केस में आप ऐसे नहीं समझना है कि जब बैटर सिस्टम में एक्सचेंज ऑफ गुड्स होता है तो वो एक ट्रांजेक्शन है। इट इज नॉट ए ट्रांजेक्शन अकॉर्डिंग टू द अकाउंटिंग टर्मिनोलॉजी। सो जिस ट्रांजेक्शन्स में एक एक्टिविटी जो मनी और मनी वर्थ के बिटवीन ट्रांजेक्शन्स होता है उसको हम बोलते हैं ट्रांजेक्शन्स। द इवेंट कैन बी मेजर इन टर्म्स ऑफ मनी एंड चेंजेस इन द फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन ऑफ एन एंटिटी। For example, purchase of goods would involve receiving material and making payment or creating an obligation to pay to the supplier at a future date. So, इसके एग्जाम्पल में हम देख रहे हैं कि हम एक कोई गुड्स परचेज करें और परचेज हम इधर वी कैन डू इट अ कैश परचेज और क्रेडिट परचेज। If we do credit purchase, so in that case, we are creating the concept of creditor because we are going to pay them in a future date. So transaction could be a cash transaction or credit transactions. When the parties settle the transactions immediately by making payment in cash or by check, it is called as a cash transaction. On the other hand, if any transaction taking place in a credit perspective, the payment should be settled in the future date as per the agreement between the parties. So transaction can be two types of nature. One is your cash transaction, another is your credit transactions. Now the concept of what is goods or services. These are the tangible articles or commodities in which a business deals. These articles or commodities are either bought and sold or produced and sold. At the time, what may be classified as goods to one business firm may not be goods to the other firm. For example, machine manufacturing company, the machine are goods as they are frequently made and sold. For the machine manufacturing company, machine is a goods because they are made for the purchase or sale, or goods are made for the sale, as the intention is to use it as a long-term resources and not sell it. If it is a buying from a machine which is not for the intention of the selling purpose, that we can also call it as a goods. The services are intangible in nature and are rendered without the object of earning profit. That means, for example, we are buying a machine, we are buying some goods from the shop. That means any particular product which has a tangible in nature, which we can feel or touch, that we call as a goods. But when you talk about the intangible in nature, that means anything which cannot be touched or it has no physical existence. For example, our hotel industry, they are providing the services, they are offering the benefits, so that is your service. A doctor providing or giving a service, a professor giving a service, or persons who is a professional in nature, they are providing service, they are not providing any goods. So that is the meaning of concept of goods or service. Let's talk about the what is capital expenditure. Capital expenditure, it represent the expenditure incurred for the purpose of acquiring a fixed asset which is intended to be used over a long term for earning profit therefrom. Example, amount paid to buy a computer for office uses a capital expenditure. At times, expenditure may be incurred for enhancing the production capacity of the machine. This will also be called as a capital expenditure. Capital expenditure forms a part of the balance sheet. In simple or in a layman term, when we do some expenditure with the intention to generate benefit out of it. For example, I have purchased a computer as the same stated example. If I don't have purchased it, so I have to take it as a rented basis. So in that case, I have to pay the rent to the owner. So if I have purchased it, out of this purchase, I can use this computer. I can also get some benefit out of it. For example, another example we can consider, if you have a purchase of machinery, a machine for your factory. So if you don't purchase this machine, will you able to use this machine for your productivity purpose? The answer is no. If you don't buy it, so you cannot use it. If you don't have the capacity to buy, so in that case you can take on a rented basis, so there you have to pay some amount as a rented amount. So in this case, if any capital expenditure or any expenditure that you have made in a business, that will give you the benefit for a long term purpose, or in simple term we can call it as a fixed assets or non-current assets. The next part is your revenue expenditure. This represent expenditure incurred to earn revenue of the current period. Means the expenditure for a long-term purpose, that we call as a capital expenditure. The expenditure for a short-term purpose or short period or current financial year, that we call as a revenue expenditure. The benefit of revenue expenses get existed in the year of the incurrence. Suppose for example, you have purchased or you have taken some uh, benefit by, or you are giving employed some of the employee, against that you are paying salary to them. These are the expenditure we call as a revenue expense, because the amount you pay as a salary when you get a service, when your employee is working for you. So in that case, you get this benefit, so in a short period of time. The benefit of revenue expenses get adjusted in the year of the incurrence. For example, repairs, insurance, salary, and wages to employee, travel, etc. The revenue expenditure result in the reduction in profit or surplus. It becomes part of the income statement. Means capital expenditure is a part of your balance sheet and your revenue expenditure is a part of your income statement. When you do expenditure, that will reduce the profit or surplus of the business. So revenue expenditure is a result of reduction in your profit or surplus. Let's talk about the profit and loss account or income statement. The profit and loss account or income statement, they are synonyms in nature. It will be used as a synonyms, and in many instances with the objective of the business, it has a different statement. This account shows the revenue earned by the business and the expenses incurred by it to earn that revenue. This is prepared usually for a particular accounting period, which could be a month, quarter, half yearly, or yearly. The net result of the profit and loss account shows profit earned or loss suffered by the business entity. So when your expenditures is more than your revenue, so in that case, it is a scenario is created a loss. When your revenue is more than your expenditure, the scenario is created as a profit. Let's talk about what is profit and loss. We talk about the profit and loss statement as well as the income statement. Now we need to understand what is profit and loss. The excess of revenue over expenses is called profit. So whatever the revenue that you are generated over a period of time, if your revenue is more than your expenses, that will result is your profit. Just opposite of the same that we call as a loss, if your expenses is over the revenue, over the income, that we call as a loss. Let's go ahead for further explanation of accounting terms. The term we call it as a trade discount. So when you see this scenario, trade discount, this discount is never recorded in any of the books. Let's understand what is trade discount. I will give you a simple example. The example is, then we'll talk about the theoretical part of this trade discount. The list price of a TV set could be rupees 15,000. The wholesaler may allow 20% discount thereof to the retailer. Means the seller himself declare that they are allowing you give you a 20% discount. This means the retailer will get it for rupees 12,000 because 15,000 multiplied with 20%, 3,000, which is deducted out of 15,000, the result is come as a 12,000 and is expected to sell it finally to a customer at the list price. This amount of 3,000, which is deducted out of the price of the TV, that is called trade discount. Because this trade discount enables the retailer to make profit by selling it at the list price. Retailer may can sell this TV to any customer, to the any end user by giving or by charging the amount of 13,000, 14,000 or even 15,000. So here the concept come into the picture in the process of trade, means buying and selling purpose. At the time of buying and selling, during this activity, if any discount is allowed by the wholesaler to the retailer, that we call as a trade discount. In simple term, we called it people are going to a wholesaler rather than going to retailer. Because wholesaler is going to give you the more discount because they are purchase the goods in a bulk quantity. But retailer will purchase from the this goods and services from the wholesaler with a limited quantity. So due to such scenario, we are preferring or we people as a consumer try to get a product from the wholesaler to get some more discount. But the same discount amount, if you are going to get it from retailer before you purchase, that is also a trade discount for you as well. Let's talk about the theoretical part. It is the discount usually allowed by the wholesaler to the retailer computed on the list price or invoice price. The trade discount is not recorded in the books of account. The transactions are recorded at net values only. In the above example, the transaction will be recorded at rupees 12,000. Even you may get some questions related to this trade discount in your exam, giving a scenario. This is the example. Could you advise what amount will be recorded in the books of account? So in that case, if any trade discount is there, you have to deduct the trade discount out of the invoice price or maximum retail price. Whatever the amount will come, that amount you are going to record it in the books of account regarding the transactions amount. Now come to the picture about your what is cash discount. It is allowed to encourage prompt payment by the debtor. It has to be recorded in the books of account. This cash discount is always to be recorded in the books of account. But in case of trade discount, we are not going to record it, the trade discount amount in the books of account. Let's understand this scenario with one example. This cash discount is calculated after deducting the trade discount, like its list price is rupees 15,000, on which trade discount was 20% and cash discount of 2% apply. The first trade discount of rupees 3,000, which is going to be deducted out of the invoice price, that is 15,000, the deducted amount will be 12,000. On this 12,000, you are going to charge the 2% as a cash discount. So 12,000 on that 2%, that is 240 rupees, will be deducted out of your total amount what you supposed to pay to your wholesaler, that is 12,000 minus 240 rupees, that is to be the 11,760, will be recorded as the amount is payable, and on that you have to show as a cash discount of 240. Cash discount strategy is always works. For example, if you are going to approach to a seller that okay, I am ready to pay cash, so how much you will going to charge? So they will say okay, the price is 10,000, so I'll give you discount of 500 rupees. So why the seller wants to give you discount of 500 rupees? Because they were getting the amount instantly. And this theory or this concept we called as a time value of money. Time has money. Or in simple term, if you are going to take a one scenario, that scenario will be, it's better to receive today rather than receive the amount in after 1 month, because future is uncertain. So from that perspective, it is a discount always to be given to the debtor or to the persons for attracting the early payment, because all the people they want to pay less than the more. Let's go ahead with the other counting terms, that is your balance sheet. I'll talk you about this balance sheet. Balance sheet is not a account, it is a statement. The reason is that balance sheet is always prepared on a specific date. That's why the heading of the balance sheet, whenever you are looking into the anywhere, balance sheet as on this date means as on that date, this is the scenario. But if it is an account, it will be so for a year ended. So balance sheet is a statement. So you may get a question. Balance sheet is a statement, justify. So you need to explain that it is a statement which we prepare as on specific date. Uh, So it is the statement of the financial position of the business entity on a particular date. It lists out all the assets and liabilities and capital. It is important to note that this is the statement except the statement of affairs of the business as on a particular date only. It describes what the business owns and what it owes to outsider, that denotes liabilities, and to the owners, that denotes the capital. And it is prepared after incorporating the resulting profit or loss or income statement. At the end of the financial statement, or at the end of the last statement we supposed to prepare by the accountant while preparing a financial statement, that is the balance sheet, because the balance sheet takes the input from the profit and loss statement. Let's talk about assets. What is assets? Asset is a resource owned by a business. with the purpose of using it for generating future profit. Or in simply, we can also understand this asset is created out of the capital expenditure only. Asset can be tangible and intangible. The asset which has a physical existence that we call as a tangible assets, or the asset which has no physical existence that we call as a intangible assets. So in this scenario, tangible assets are the capital assets which have some physical existence. This can therefore be seen, touched, and felt. Example, plant and machinery, plant and equipment, building, furniture, fittings, land and building, books, computer and vehicles, anything which has a physical existence. Furniture, fittings, fixture, all these things to be a part of the tangible assets. But when you talk about intangible asset, these are the capital assets which have no physical existence and whose value is limited by the rights and anticipated benefits that possessions confers upon the owner are known as intangible asset. This cannot be seen or felt, although these are help to generate revenue in future. Example, goodwill, patent, trademarks, copyright, brand equity, design, and intellectual property, etc. So it has something which is a good or what we call a brand name, brand image, or any things which create a demand in the market. For example, as we know, Tata is one of the uh, company which has people know is because it has a goodwill. Suddenly, you as a new businessman, you enter into the market, you use the logo of Tata and you started selling the product. People are going to purchase your product because the Tata has the market, has a goodwill in the market. So if you use their logo, that is a trademarks. So in that case, you can earn money out of it. So the intangible asset means anything which has no physical existence. Let's talk about the classification of assets. The asset can be classified into two parts, current assets, non-current assets. Let's talk about non-current assets first, then we'll talk about current assets. Non-current assets, any asset which has a future or which has able to give you generation of some return out of the business for more than 1 year. That means any asset which has a long-term effect, which is give you the long-term benefit that we call as a non-current asset. But when you talk about the current asset, which is give you the return within one accounting year, within a period of 12 months. Let's what are the things is included under the head of current assets. It is expected to be realized in or is intended for sale or consumption in the company's normal operating cycle. Normal operating cycle means within a 12 months time period or within a one accounting period. It is held primarily for the purpose of being traded. It is used for these assets are used for 1 year only. It is due to be realized within 12 months after the reporting date. It is cash or cash equivalent unless it is restricted from being exchanged or used to settle a liability for at least 12 months after the reporting date. So any asset which you give you the return within 1 year, that is current asset. If it is giving you return for more than 1 year, that is your non-current assets. Investment. Investment are two type in nature. One is your current investment, another is your non-current investment. What is current investment? Current investment are investments that are by their nature readily realizable, are intended to be held for not more than 1 year from the date on which such investment is made. 11 months commercial paper is an example of current investment like treasury bill, or even we can say some of the marketable security which has a maturity period of 11 months or max to 12 months. So that will be the part of your current investment, or any investment which is liquidated within 11 months or within 12 months, that we call as a current investment. And non-current investment are those investment which are held beyond the current period of for sale or disposal, like fixed deposit of 5 years or any investment that you have made for more than 1 year, that will be part of your non-current investment. Let's talk about data. What is data and when it is created? So when you talk about the concept of transactions, so there we saw that cash transaction and credit transactions. Whenever you do credit sales, that time the concept of data is created. Whatever the goods and services that you have sale on credit, so in that instances, the data is created. So data is nothing but the sum total or aggregate of the amount which the customer owes to the business for the purchase of goods on credit or services rendered or in respect of other contractual obligation is known as sundry debtor, trade debtor, trade payable, book debts, debtor. So these are the synonyms terms are used for the purpose of debtor. Don't be confused with that. Sundry debtor is different than trade debtor. All are synonyms. This debtor may again be classified as under certain type. That is a good debt. Good debt means that you are expected that your amount will be liquidated. The debt which you are sure to be realized are called good debt. Means there will be no chance of doubtful. There is no chance of loss. So that we call as a good debt. Doubtful debt, the debt which may or may not be realized are called doubtful debts. For example, you have sell goods to someone who may be insolvent. If they insolvent, you may not be going to realize your money. So in that case, you are consider that debt is a doubtful debt. If that person will be solvent, they will pay your amount. So in that case, there is a 50-50 chance may or may not be realized. Bad debt, these debt which cannot be realized at all are called bad debts. Means this is the debt which you may not recover. That we call as a bad debt. Let's talk about wasting assets and fictitious assets. Wasting assets, such asset as mines, quarries that become exhausted or reduce in value by their working are called wasting assets. Means any asset has a depletion value. The natural resources, the mines you have taken on a contract basis for a period of 10 years, you are exploring the mines resources, so at the time it will be going to be finished, so that we call wasting assets. Fictitious assets are not asset at all since they are not represented by any tangible position. They appear on the asset side simply because of debit balance of profit and loss or some of the losses which is in capital in nature. That losses can be considered as a fictitious asset and which can be a write-off over a period of time with short amount, with a certain percentage of amount, with a certain portion of amount that we call as a provision for discount to creditor, discount on issue of shares. These are the type of fictitious asset or profit and loss account debit balance. Liability. It is an obligation of financial nature to be settled as a future date. It represents amount of money that the business owes to the other parties. For instance, when goods are bought on credit, the firms will create an obligation to pay to the supplier. Means anything which you have taken as a wing, so you have to pay in future. So that is your liability. Liability in simple term we talk about, if I have taken loan, the loan is my liability. Let's talk about current liabilities. Current liabilities are the liabilities which classified as current when it will satisfy certain conditions. As like current assets, the current liabilities will also have certain conditions. It is expected to settle in the company in a normal operating cycle. Normal operating cycle, it means one accounting year, one financial year, or 12 months is the maximum time period. It is held for primarily for the purpose of being traded. It is due to be settled within 12 months after the reporting date, or the company does not have an unconditional right to defer settlement of the liability for at least 12 months after the reporting date. So it means what we can say, the amount will be settled within 12 months. Like outstanding wages, like we can say some of the creditors amount or bills payable amount, bills outstanding amount, all these things to be the part of your current liabilities. Non-current liabilities, other than the current liabilities, all other liabilities shall be classified as non-current liabilities. For example, any loan taken for 5 years, debenture issued, or any financial burden that a business they have on the business, so that will be part of your non-current liabilities for more than 1 year. Contingent liability. This is also one of the interesting type of liability which always to be prevail in the books of account. It has some accounting standard for the same. Let's understood what is contingent liability. It represents a potential obligation that could be created depending on the outcome of an event. For example, if a supplier of a business files a legal suit, it will not be treated as a liability because no obligation is created immediately. If the verdict of the case is given in favor of the supplier, then only the obligation is created. Till that time, it is treated as a contingent liability. Please note that contingent liability is not recorded in the books of account, but disclosed through a note in the financial statement. So always we have to disclose our true and fair view of the financial position, financial performance of the business. So for that purpose, it is the duty of the accountant to give a note regarding all the contingent liability. For example, a Tata company, there is a customer, he has purchased a Tata Punch as a car and he had made an accident, and the customer claims that because of the faulty in the car that accident occurs. So they are file a case against the Tata Group that they are demanding some amount. So in that case, the customer file a case against the Tata Group, but in this context, the case is not yet decided. The case may be in the verdict of the Tata Group. If it is a verdict of the Tata Group, there will be no liability will be created. If it is the case in the verdict of the customer, so in that case, the liability will occur. So in that case, the company or the business has to pay this amount. So that's why such type of scenario will be considered as a contingent liability. Let's understood other technical terms regarding the accounting, basic accounting terms: capital, drawings, net worth, or creditor. Capital is the amount invested in a business by its owner. It may be in the form of cash, goods, or any other assets which the proprietor or partner or business invest in the business. Any amount is contributed by the owner in the business itself, that is called capital. It may be any other form. It may be in the form of cash, it may be in the form of goods, or any other nature of assets can be contributed to the business as a capital. When you talk about drawings, it is nothing but if a owner use or withdraw some of the amount for his personal use, that we call as a drawings. Net worth. It represents the excess of total assets over total liabilities of a business. Technically, this amount is made available to be distributed to the owner in the event of closure of the business after payment of all liability. It means simply we can say that after liquidation of the business, whatever the total assets over total liabilities of the company they have, that is called net worth of the business. A creditor is a person to whom the business owes money or money is owed. For example, money payable, trade payable, sundry creditors, trade creditors are generally classified as a current liabilities, and it will be nature of the current liability because it holds a time period of 12 months or one operating cycle. Thank you guys.